imagine your parent taking you to school, paying all that school fees, and then you are like,
I do not want to be an engineer.
Yeah.
So for them, they were thinking, I'll just start a company. In a couple of months, nimeomoka. Kijana ameomoka. So they couldn't understand, how is this boy leaving a salary of $1 million plus to go set up a business, and where is the logic behind that?
Okay.
But I think when you walk with God, be ready to sacrifice a lot. Be ready to go through the isolation period. You'll be isolated from your friends, even your family, because those are the people who have known you the most, but now God wants you to know Him.
Yeah.
And it's an important journey, because at the end of the day, when you come out of that, you come out a different man. You come out a very focused man. You come out a very spiritually strong man, which is very important in today's society, especially when it comes to leadership.
Welcome to the Identity Project podcast. This is where we get to have interactive conversations revolving around becoming, so that we live victoriously and lead others to do the same. My name is Kevin Tindi, and let me just say thank you so much. You are new here. I truly appreciate you. This is where you can hit the subscribe button so that you can be able to walk through this journey of living victoriously, so that we lead others to do the same. Also, another thing for you who has been a regular, you have watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many episodes. I just want to appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. As in, I cannot even thank you enough, but thank you so much. And also for the feedback that you've been giving me. I truly appreciate, because this is what makes us to be even more better. Another thing is, I have the Identity Project book, and you can be able to get it through one, Nuria online bookstore. They deliver across East Africa. Number 2, you can also get it through Amazon. We managed to get the paperback on Amazon, and now you can be able to get either the soft copy or the paperback. And this is across the world. So thank you for the people who are in the US and you watch this podcast from the UK and also from South Africa. I have been in South Africa, and I know that's such a lovely place. Also, you can get the book on www.kevintindi.com. And with that, I believe we will be able to live victoriously, so that we lead others to do the same. I want to introduce someone who is going to share his journey on purpose, becoming, and where he is at.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Katie. So yes, my name is Anthony Mukuria. And at the moment, I'm the founder and CEO of DUIT Technology.
Wow.
So DUIT is an acronym. So it's DUIT, and it stands for Directly Uplifting Individuals Through Technology. And we've built a platform called Invest in Africa. And the purpose of this platform is to help tech startups and scale-ups receive funding from both local and global investors. And at the same time, on the platform, we give them access to co-working spaces and business advisory services, and they can also post jobs to fetch new talent. So that's currently who I am professionally. But also more about me, I'm born again, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. He has been with me from day one. I mean, it's just been a journey. It's been an amazing journey, just walking by faith and just seeing how He meets you when you actually move by faith.
Yeah.
And it's also been, there've been battles. There's been isolation. There's been tears. There's been sleepless nights. But it's a journey that's worth it, because one thing I do know is that even from the scriptures is, when you're chosen by God, it's not easy. It is not easy. You will have to go through, you'll have to go through the battles.
Yeah.
And part of going through those battles, you're going through the training for bigger battles that are coming ahead. So for everything that you're going through, there is purpose. You just need to ask Him, how is this working out for me?
Okay.
So that has been my journey. That's who I am. A bit more about me is, in uni, I studied aeronautical engineering, which is completely different from what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I've always loved aircraft. So when I was young, my parents would fly me out. So I was very intrigued. So I think there was this time when I was young, my mom was telling me, I think you should become a pilot. But because I'm afraid of heights, I settled for being an engineer. Okay. Let me discover how these things are made, if they are safe for us or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my journey in uni. I was in University of Brighton in the UK. And yeah, I was there with a lot of Kenyans. It was good. I was also with family. And then I came back in 2019, just before COVID hit. And I thank God for that, because I can't imagine being trapped abroad if COVID had hit.
That thing was...
It was not a joke.
Yeah.
It destroyed so many things, from lives to businesses to economies. It was not a joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to see how God works with you, and he has chosen you, how he protects you, how he leads you, how he guides you. That has been like my testimony.
Okay.
And I see why the tissues are there. But yes, that has been my testimony. Okay. So yeah, when I came back, that was in 2019. I came back, COVID hit. So there was not much really happening. I was just serving in church. I was making sure the people who are suffering during that period, who didn't have food or whatnot, we were providing for them food, water, basic needs. Yeah, so I was just serving. And at the same time, I was also asking God, what am I going to do? I do not want to work in a hangar. I am too intellectually capable to work in a hangar, God. Please, that will be too boring for me. And he just, and during that period, I remember I was meditating a lot. So he took me through everything that he's brought me through. So the things I used to like, from technology to the movies to the books I used to read, books on technology gurus, tech gurus. Yeah. On how the future of tech is gonna look like. So he brought me through all that, and he was like, the plan is already there. Yeah. So just continue taking one step after another. Then I was like, God, okay, sawa. You've made me read all these books. I have all these ideas. How do I bring them into manifestation? Yeah, then that's how he showed me now the investment route. I can build a platform that's where I don't have to be the one who brings the ideas. I can leave that to him. He'll bring the people with the ideas. I just need to build the platform. They get the funding.
Hey, okay, your story is interesting. I think at some point you'll explain to us how you transitioned from the hangar.
Yes.
to technology.
Yeah,
and how the journey has been. Because I know it's never easy. Imagine your parent taking you to school.
Yeah.
Paying all that school fees. And then you are like,
I do not want to be an engineer.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you can walk us through. Because now because I feel you're talking about how you stepped into purpose.
Yes.
Because you see, many people may never step into purpose because, one, they want to feel safe with what they are doing. They want to disappoint other people that maybe they have played a role into them doing that which they are doing, because money has been contributed.
Yes.
And there's a lot that has been poured in.
Yes.
So they will rather feel safe and not do something that they are passionate about.
Not jump out on that whim and meet God in their known, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I totally agree. Like, transitioning was not easy, especially because of what you've mentioned. Yeah, my parents said, we paid for you school fees, we took care of you in the UK. Is all of that just gonna go into the drain? Yeah. But I was like, Mom, you guys invested in me. When I entered school, I knew nothing, but I had a purpose. I was gonna pass and get good grades. So by that determination, it's the same determination I still have in business. Yeah, that I did not know much about business. I never studied business, but I was determined to pass. I learned what I needed to learn. I read the books I needed to read. I listened to the people I needed to listen to, and I executed. But most of it was also God, because when I did not know where to start from, but I would have a conversation with someone, and from that conversation, I've heard God speak to me. And then that conversation would lead me to someone else, a connection maybe. And then he would tell me, yeah, I know someone who is a founder, who has a tech startup. I'll introduce you. So you see, I started from the ground up, but it was a journey of faith. It was one step at a time. Eventually all that accumulated and the momentum peaked.
Okay.
And the momentum picked. But it was not easy because my parents were wondering, how long will this business of yours take? They didn't understand the journey of a tech startup because I started the company in 2021, February 16th. So it has taken me around 4 years. So for them, they were thinking, I'll just start a company. In a couple of months, nimeomoka. Kijana ameomoka. So they couldn't understand, how is this boy leaving a salary of $1 million plus to go set up a business? And where's the logic behind that?
Okay.
But I was trying to, now that's when I did the business plan for them. I explained to them how much I'll also be making per month. Then they saw the logic and the sense. But it was still not an easy journey for me, because they wanted to really see results fast and quick. And so I remember even like there was this period like where my mom is like, let me get you a job here, let me get you a job here. But this was the funniest thing ever. All the doors that she was opening for me, they were closing.
They were being shut.
They were being shut. And that's how I knew it was God. Because we have so many connections, but nothing was going through apart from what he had told me to focus on.
You know, you've mentioned, one of the keywords I've heard you mention is not easy. Not easy.
Yeah.
Maybe you can point out some of the not easy, so that at least for someone who might be in a place that they want to transition.
Yeah.
In fact, funny thing, I was working in church.
Yes.
And then I resigned. Like your story.
Yeah.
Though for me, my parents hadn't invested.
Like you.
Yeah, my parents passed on. My dad in 1999, my mom in 2005.
Sorry.
But now the thing is, there are some people who never understood. And you see, for me, one thing I learned is from a quote that I was told: do not tell people your dream, show them.
Show them, yeah.
Because if you tell them, people might want you to still remain in the place that you're in. And for me, it wasn't easy when it comes to transitioning. That's why I said, let me do what God tells me to do.
Yes.
Because if I do not do what God tells me to do, I may end up pleasing people, but I may not fulfill my plan and purpose, the purpose and the plan that God had for me.
And living in regret as well, because you people please, but what about you?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's very important. Like knowing what God has for you is very important, and being able to distinguish God's voice from other people's voices is also very important. And that's why it's always, and I think that's why when he chooses you, he isolates you, because he needs you to understand his voice. He needs you to know his voice.
Yeah.
And in that session, in that moment, like, it can be very heartbreaking. You're separated from your friends.
Yeah.
I had no money, so I couldn't date. The simple things, you know, you can't take yourself out. You can only focus on what you're building. So for me, I think when you walk with God, be ready to sacrifice a lot. Be ready to go through the isolation period. You'll be isolated from your friends, even your family, because those are the people who have known you the most, but now God wants you to know him.
Yeah.
And it's an important journey, because at the end of the day, when you come out of that, you come out a different man. You come out a very focused man. You come out a very spiritually strong man, which is very important in today's society, especially when it comes to leadership. When it comes to leadership, that is very important, because I feel as a people, especially as a Black people, when we were colonized, not only were our bodies broken, our spirits and our minds were broken too.
Yeah.
And that's what is being rebuilt. Yes. So it's very important.
Okay, wow, I can only imagine, because now you're a leader.
Yes.
Like around 5 years, an organization. And you mentioned that God isolates you, and I can only imagine how difficult it is. Maybe you can give us some of the scenarios on how difficult it was and how you depended on God. Because you say that your mom would tell you this job and everything was being shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that's when you again learn to listen to his voice. Because I would even just come across the most randomest of things. God is not asking you to look for a job. And I'm like, huh? God is talking to me. You know, those when And these are the signs and the wonders that you come across in life when you know that God is speaking to you, because he speaks to everyone differently, you know. He's a God who speaks in multitudes.
Yeah.
But you'll come across a word and I'll come across a word, and they'll both speak to us differently. And for me, it was very difficult because I remember when I was isolated, I was saying my friends are partying, they're having good times. They've opened, I'm seeing they've opened their small businesses, they're thriving. So for me, I was like, okay, God, I've been faithful, I've been fasting, I've been praying, I've been doing everything you've asked me to do. Why is it not yet my time? Why is it not yet my time? But God was telling me to be patient for a reason, because what he was blessing me with was going to be a blessing to even my friends and other people.
And how did you handle when people were progressing, other people are starting things, and you're just...
That's a journey again. You have to walk with God, and what God shows you in that moment is for you to be grateful for others, because what you give out is what you'll also get back. So by being grateful, by just wishing them well, and just knowing your time will come eventually, it will come.
Wow, that's interesting, because you're painting a picture of this guy, Joseph.
Yes.
Because he knew he was supposed to be second in command.
Yes.
A star.
Yes.
And then what he did is, when he was in prison, he helped lift other people up.
Yes.
And this is contrary to how the society today is.
Yes.
Because people are full of like bitterness and jealousy. They wouldn't want someone else to go up. And for you, it's a different narrative, because I'm saying you allow other people to go up.
Yeah.
Because you know
my time too will come, and my time is from God and by God, and no one can take that away from me. So your blessings are your blessings, and they're also from God. So you should never be jealous. Whatever is meant for you will eventually be yours.
So you've mentioned that the process was you being able to meet with people. You said when it comes to technology, you met people. Now, how was the journey to you establishing DUIT? You know, for me, it sounds like do it, but DUIT Technology.
It has a perfect try. Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get to such a place that you even came up with that name? How did you set things?
No, I think people normally think that entrepreneurs always have it all figured out. But it's just like, even if I was to use you as an example, when you were starting your podcast, you didn't have everything figured out. But God was revealing things to you in steps. So he shows you the end goal, the vision, how it will look like. But how you're getting there, you don't know. That is the unknown walk now with God.
But you have to trust him.
You have to trust him each and every step of the way. So it's a journey of faith. Just like when Joseph was shown the dream, he probably was thinking it will happen tomorrow or the next day. But he went through how many years?
Like 13, 17. Then.
Exactly. So you see, it takes a process, it takes time. And even during that period, there are things God is taking you through for you to learn, for you to be ready for that position he's going to give you. That's why you have to trust the process, you have to trust the journey. It's a process. You're being refined, you're being taken through the fire, you're being molded, you know, so it can be brought out anew.
Like, you see, for me, for the podcast, I think in 2021, I bought the lights. At least now, if I may be scriptural, it's like Psalm 119:105. That was the light towards me taking the next step. And slowly by slowly, I buy a mic. I remember one of my friends. In fact, they are like family friends. The wife was going to the US. And I saw there's something I can buy, which is called a Zoom H8, a recorder. That's how they bought. And I did not know that I was supposed to start a podcast then. Slowly by slowly, my guardian, I explained to him, he assists me, and he enables me, or he gets me to a place that I get a phone that has a nice camera. And slowly by slowly, a friend of mine told me, let us talk. And we were talking, he tells me that's the podcast. slowly by slowly, I've started to build. I've been even attending sessions
Yes.
on how to run podcasts, on how to do stuff. I remember last year, around before August, I was just seated at home and I'm like, let me study how YouTube works. And I studied YouTube all the
Wow.
way up to today.
Wow.
I'm still studying how you put the keywords and everything, how you have to be consistent and all those things. And I'm starting to see the fruit.
Yes.
And maybe you can also help people who may be in like their own hangars or their own aeronautical engineering, but they want to break away from that so that they step into purpose. Yeah.
Okay, so for that, what I would say is, again, God will always take you back to the things that He's shown you that are good for you. Things that you are brought up with, things that you enjoyed doing when you were young. Because what eventually happens is we reach this certain age and it's like the society kind of limits your imagination, yeah? Because now you're put into a school, everything is so structured. You come out of school, you want to enter employment, everything is so structured. So if you don't have imagination and able to think for yourself from a perspective of how can I empower others, or you're not able to even have that conversation with God, yeah? But if you're able to have that conversation with God, God will put you in a position where He'll show you, these are the things that worked, these are the things that didn't work. These are the things you need to focus on. This one you don't need to focus on. This was just part of the journey for now, but now this is something new you're entering. Because there are seasons for a reason.
Yeah.
And not everything is meant to last for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it was God showing me that all these things I took you through, you achieved without having the knowledge or the know-how, but you listened.
Okay.
So it's about that trusting. That journey it's all about trust. So like for me, when I was starting my company, I didn't even know the name I was going to give it. But because I was having those conversations with God, and then He was showing me how big it will be, how it will empower people and everything. That's how we were able to come up with the name. And then I remember I had this book on how to start a business. So it tells you the people you need to get into contact with. So accountants, lawyers, whatnot. And I was finding it so confusing. I'm like, now where do I start from? Yeah. But God had it in control. I started the company. I set it up. Immediately I got an accountant. I got a lawyer. But before I got them, it was still a one-man show. But eventually I got them. So eventually with time, you just need to trust God to reveal things to you and to bring the right people to you. Because I remember there are scenarios, and this is why you need to also, because business is very spiritual. And in business, you need to have a discerning spirit. So I remember this is where I was learning now about having a discerning spirit. There is a gentleman I had met, he was meant to be my lawyer. But even from the way he was speaking, you could tell there was something off. Yeah? Because I remember, I'll never forget, he said, tutashika hawa watu wako, your tech startups, in the contract. And the way it came out to me, I was like, he doesn't sound like he wants to help me empower them. Okay. He kind of sounds like he wants me to help put them in a position where they cannot come out of. And to me, that was unacceptable. So being able to discern that, and then him not also, me paying him and then him just disappearing with the money, it's things you learn step by step, but eventually your discerning spirit becomes very strong.
Yeah.
And you're able to tell people for who they are just when they speak, how they carry themselves, and even what they're focused on in life. So for me, I remember the other people I met, even friends I needed to let go of, because we were no longer aligned. Where God was taking me is not where they were going. And even I remember now when I was telling you, I was seeing my friends having good times, enjoying parties, Nini. That is not God wanted for me. God did not want me to party. He had taken me away from that life. He wanted me to lead others into Christ through my story. So it was just amazing to see how everything is gelling together, regardless of you not knowing at that moment. When you look back, God will reveal to you how everything worked out perfectly. And starting the company, getting the right people, getting the clientele, but it was a journey. I started from the ground up. I had to set up the company. I had to do the groundwork, which is going to events, knowing exactly what happens in the tech space, because how will you get that information? No one in my family was in the tech space at that time.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out everything from scratch. And I could see how God meets you when you need him. So eventually I met the right people. They put me in the right groups. I started attending events, meeting tech startups, meeting founders. And eventually I built the website because now I understood the problem they were going through. Because there's an issue where tech startups are not able to receive funding immediately because they have to go through a couple of months process when they're using incubators or accelerators. Yeah. But now through our platform, we're able to minimize that, and you can get funding even in a day, because the platform basically showcases your product to the investors, and they don't need to work with an institution and wait a couple of months, which is also tedious for them in order for them to invest. So just understanding the problem, God helping you with the solution, and it all coming together perfectly it's very spiritual. It's very spiritual, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because, that's why I really want, even when I have children, they need to know God. Because, I really want them to read my book, to read my story, just to see how God has come through for me.
Wow, you're reminding me of when I was breaking out, now transitioning from church. And it's not that I don't go to church.
Yeah.
I still go to church. And I still serve. I remember one spiritual mature woman. She approached me and told me, I'm KT. People know me as KT, Kevin Tindi. She told me, what you're doing is what God has called you to do. And what you're doing is actually an altar.
Yeah.
And she told me it's an altar because of what you're talking about. She said, what you're doing is spiritual. And she told me not to take what I'm doing for granted. And that's why I think you've mentioned about prayer and about fasting. And people might never see the things that happen behind the scenes. People might see like DUIT Technology, and they know it's like it came from like withdrawing money from a bank. But you spoke about process. And one of the things for businesses being spiritual and startups, and once you understand that, you learn that you have to use spiritual ways to be able to make them to be successful. Because the purpose is not even for you to make money, but the purpose, making money is part of it. But the purpose is to do what God is telling you to do. And that's why one of the things that is coming out so clearly from you is to be able to know God, so that you hear what God is telling you.
Yeah.
So that you know the purpose of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree, because if you end up listening to other people, you will end up lost. You'll end up in regret. And you'll come to learn that people will always have their best interest first before yours. So it's always important to also ask yourself then, if that's their path, what does God have for me,
Yeah.
And if that's the case, how can we work together from that perspective? Yes.
Okay. Another thing is, now that you've set up the organization, how have you, like, as the leader, how have you sustained it? How have you scaled it up? And how, like, have you helped other people? Though you mentioned it in passing.
So leadership is all about leading by example. So the first person I had to convince was the person who's invested in me the most, my family, my parents. Yes, so they did help me fundraise, and they supported me along the journey, even though we had our squabbles. But they after I was able to explain to them that this is the same son you invested school in, and he performed well, and he knew nothing, that even in this business I'll be the best. So just talking to them, and then them also knowing you, and then also other people coming together and saying, I think what your son has is a great idea. because them, they couldn't see it. You know, it's the closest people to you. What does the Bible say about prophets and them in their hometown, you know,
Yeah.
but not being acknowledged? It's the same thing like when you're at home, you know, your parents will not really see that in you, but other people can see them. They'll be like, hey, I think your son has something here. Eh? There's something here that's going to work out. So having outside people talking and also God also being part of it, everything just worked out. But again, as I was telling you, they did try open other doors for me. They did want me to get money. They couldn't understand why I was starting a business and I'm gonna be offered 1 million for salary. But what God was blessing me was more than what they wished for me. What He was blessing me with was more than what they wished for me. And now they see it. And now it's a beautiful journey where even they can talk about God from that perspective of like, hey, you know what? Like our son, we thought he should have done employment, but he actually had a very good idea, which is very impactful, and it can empower a lot of people. So I think even us, we have to take a step back where we have an introspective perspective and look at ourselves. Like when someone is telling us something, are they hearing from God, or are we trying to direct their faith in a way, you know? So being able to discern, like, hey, this person has heard from God. The vision he's talking about, the vision he wants to materialize into the plane is from God. And how can I help? How can I be a part of that? And how I always look at it is even the people who I meet on a daily basis, the people who come to me, I always say they have been sent to me by God. So what does God want us to do together? So I think it's very important to always have that conversation with God, because even when I was meeting tech startups, I was meeting them in the most interesting of places, in church. I meet founders in church, yeah. And then after that, now I get connected to events, for tech events. So God met me where I was at, where I was serving, and he just opened the doors for me. So trusting God to meet you where you're at, you don't have to go. He will come running to you. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a loving father.
And like, I don't know if you're able to talk about this, but like how many startups have you, or now like founders, or maybe people that you've supported, you've helped through, so that you can even look at yourself as DUIT Technology, that we have helped people grow?
So what we are currently looking at to do through the platform is now to make sure that tech startups get the funding that they require. So everything has already been set up. Now we are currently onboarding. We've been live on the platform for 3 weeks since our launch. Yeah, so it's still early days using the platform, but now we're getting the traction that is required. So once the people are onboarded, the right people are onboarded, and the right investments take place, then now we'll have stories, and we'll have more stories to tell about the successful startups.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. I have another question. Maybe for someone who is struggling to understand what's a tech startup. I think this should have come a bit earlier.
A tech startup is any company that is using technology or an innovative way to provide a solution to its community. Yes.
Because we are living in the age of AI.
Of technology, yeah.
And technology, now there's generative AI. And if I may talk a bit about AI, and I think now there is where you gifted that, you can take us off from there.
No issue.
Like, when it comes to AI and how the world is moving today, if someone is not technologically involved in what is happening, someone else will do that which they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to AI, because I can say I've seen AI in farming.
Yeah.
I've seen AI in fishing.
Yeah.
I've seen AI in almost every aspect.
In housing, in everything.
Yeah, in housing and everything.
Even in clothing, smart clothes.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, I even saw in interior design.
Yeah.
You just do a prompt.
Yes.
And this thing can help people to do things faster.
Yes.
And with less time with less people,
Yep.
less labor. And maybe you can build on that.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of AI. A lot of people think it's out there to get their jobs. No, it's actually out there to complement them on their jobs. So as you've said, less time, less working hours. So the history we know is people working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Why can't you just work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.? 3 hours. That's all you need. Because right now with AI, look at what ChatGPT does. You don't even if you have a long as, I mean, if you have a long email that you're struggling to respond to, you can use ChatGPT to refine it for you and get you a better response. So when you see such tools, when you see there are even now AI tools that can help you create an app using a prompt. How long did it used to take us to create an app? Like for me, it took me months. Now it can be done in a click of a button.
Yeah.
You see, that's a difference. So technology is ever evolving. It's always ever evolving. And the good thing about AI is that it's actually here to stay and here to help us. People shouldn't look at it like the enemy. Not at all. Because AI can be used in so many ways. Can you think about it, for example, being used in the justice system? Yeah. And if you were to look at how laws were set up, some laws were set up unfairly for people, and people know that, yeah? But AI can be used to actually get those things right and remove the people who are wronged, who are put in prison, to be removed. So it's seeing how AI can be used to better the community, to empower people's lives. And at the end of the day, yeah, to not be seen as a threat, but to see how can we actually work with it to live a better life. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Even as we are about to come to the end, is there maybe something that you would want to add?
I think for me, the future is very promising. I remember Dangote just said something recently. Africa can be a heaven in the next 5 years. So for me, it's all about all of us coming together and just putting in the work. I don't think there's any need to blame anyone. At the end of the day, if you're actually providing something meaningful to the society, people will notice you and people will work with you. So you're not limited in any way. And what I would suggest is it's a journey of faith. It's a very spiritual journey. So get to know God, get to know who God is in your life as your Father, and learn how to speak with Him. Yeah.
Wow, that was short and deep. So, what I'm learning from your entire story is when it comes to purpose, it comes from God.
Yeah.
And another thing is you need to know the voice of God for yourself.
Yes.
So that you know where God is leading you.
Yes.
Another thing is it will never be easy. But with God, there's nothing that is impossible.
All things work out for your good.
All things work out for your good. Also, another thing is you have a role to play. You have a role to play in terms of you being equipped by the skill. You being under people that have gone ahead of you. You being in spaces where you are always learning. In fact, someone said that when you cease learning, you become irrelevant.
Yeah.
But there's no way that we can stop now, especially in this age of AI. And AI, another thing that I'm also picking from what you've said, that AI is not to compete with us, but it's something that will help us. It's like AI can be your partner.
Yeah.
Not partner relationship-wise, but partner.
Can be your best mate.
Yeah, in terms of making you to become more effective.
Yeah.
Wow. And maybe if you have a parting shot, and then we can now bring this to a close.
For me, I would go back to the word. So seek thee first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these other things shall be added unto you.
Seek first the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. It's so unfortunate that in the world that we are living in, people want to seek after things and then the kingdom.
I know.
But it doesn't go that way, but it has to be. First, seeking the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, and all these things will be added. And I think with that, we will be able to live victoriously, so that we lead others to do the same. And I believe that God has called us to be creators. One is content creating. Two is what my brother Anthony is talking about. And I believe there's so much that God has deposited in each and every one of us. What has God deposited in you? Because the world is waiting. Because when you understand and when you know God for yourself, when you put yourself in spaces where you will learn from the people that have gone ahead of you, I believe that this world will never be the same again. And now that is purpose, so that other people are able to come and feed from you. And I think with that, the question is universal, but the answer is personal. Are you living out your purpose? Because the world is waiting. And I think with that, we can bring it to a close. Until we meet again next time, thank you so much. Let's continue to live victoriously so that we lead others to do the same.